Welcome to the You World Order Showcase podcast, where we feature life, health, and transformational coaches being the change they seek in the world. If you'd like to be featured on our podcast to share what you're contributing to making the world a better place for us all, please go to www.jointheyouworldorder.com. Be sure to like and follow our podcast for the latest episodes. Hi, and welcome to the You World Order Showcase podcast. I'm your host, Jill Hart, and with me today is Tammy Johnston. Tammy is the hold your hand and kick your ass business coach. She specializes in helping solopreneurs as early in their journey as possible to teach them the basic foundational skills they need to first survive and then to thrive. Welcome to the show, Tammy. It's really great to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Jill.
So, how did you get started?
How did I get started? Well, that's kind of a long story because it's a long time ago, because I've been coaching small business owners for well over 20 years now.
Mhm.
But actually, my background is in financial services. And so I have my two businesses. I've got my personal financial planning business that I still run and maintain and look after my clients. But I focus my time and effort into drastically improving the success rate of small businesses.
I love that you have a background in finance, because I think that's the one thing that most entrepreneurs, she says, having spent many years as a bookkeeper for small businesses, it's kind of the linchpin, whether a business can succeed or not, is how well they can pay attention to their cash flow and their profit margin, and the two are not the same.
No, they are not. And a lot of people do not understand that. And when it comes to the numbers side, the finances side, that is the number one thing that most small business owners abdicate. I don't even say delegate, I say abdicate, because they're going, unless I've got millions coming in and everything's going great, I don't even want to think about it. So somebody else, so I never have to look at it or do anything other than sign my wretched tax bill at the end of the year. And I'm going, that is completely the wrong way of doing things, because you're missing so many beautiful stories that your numbers tell you so that you can grow your business, better help your clients, and just figure out things. And people think that it's a scary thing or they need to be some math genius and going, can you count, add, subtract, multiply, and divide? That's all you need. That's all you need. You can figure it all out.
I used to be horrible at math, or I would tell myself I was horrible at math. I've since, after homeschooling 3 kids, realized that I wasn't horrible at math. I just didn't know how to multiply and divide. And if you don't know how to do those foundational pieces, your math career is going to suck.
Yeah.
But once you get a handle on that, and I was a bookkeeper before that, and I just looked at bookkeeping as it's just puzzle solving.
Yep.
It's putting things in the right place. And yeah, you got to add some stuff up, but you're trying to get it to balance. You're getting things to balance and finding the pieces that are missing. And it was so fun. It was one of those things that I really, truly enjoyed, though I hated math.
Well, I insist that all of my clients do their own bookkeeping for 6 months to a year. Then you can delegate it to someone else. But I want them doing all the inputting and all of the stuff and doing it the slow, painful way where they're getting into it. Because then you get to, you're familiar with the number, you get to start asking questions. Like when I'm working with like retail clients, I make them track their cash flow hourly. Hourly, because we want to see, okay, well, when is the cash register ringing? What? And then ask the questions. Why am I busy during these times? What are some things that I can be doing when it's quiet so that I can be bringing in more business, or scheduling different things, paying attention to the price of things. Okay, can I get something better quality and a lower price somewhere else? Am I now doing enough volume that I can ask for a discount? Can I do all of these things? Where if you're not familiar with your numbers, like how they actually work, you're going to miss all those opportunities.
Yeah. And the numbers are more than just money in, money out. It's paying attention to the data that is also coming in with that? Like
Yep.
you were just talking about, when are the sales coming? When do I have downtime? Where are the what are my numbers when it comes to contacts? How many people do I have to get in the door in order to make a sale?
Yep.
And what are those people, what are they interested in? What attracted them to
Yep.
come into the store?
Yep.
Whether it's digital or physical, it doesn't
Hmm.
really matter. It's always the same. And it doesn't matter if you're selling coaching services or if you're selling widgets down the street.
Yep.
There's the fundamentals are the fundamentals when it comes to putting a business together.
Yes.
So what do you think would increase your odds of succeeding in business?
How you increase your odds of succeeding in business is treating it as a business. Most people are technicians. They're technically good at their product or service. So, for example, coaches, I'm really, really great at coaching. And that is like, build it and they will come. Well, do you have your systems put together? What are you doing for marketing? Are you paying attention to your financials? Who are you getting your advice from? Because most people, especially when they start, are getting their business advice from their broke ass friends and family that have never even set foot in the arena, and they're wondering why things aren't working. Like, yes, we expect you to be good at what you're doing, making the widgets or the coaching or providing the service. But if you don't have the business skills to support that, to bring the people in, to look after everything, it's going to crash and burn. So how you're going to succeed is you actually have to treat it like a business. You need to get the right help, especially at the beginning. Like, a good business coach is one of the best things you could ever get, because they can help you see all the things that you don't see, help you over the obstacles, eliminate obstacles, minimize obstacles, and see the opportunities. Because and pick which ones you need to be going after, because a lot of the problems are there's so many opportunities. Which ones do you go after? So people are just spraying everywhere, and then they're wondering why they're not ever building up any traction.
Mm-hmm. And then they aren't watching any of the numbers along the way, so they don't know what's working, what's not working, and they can't really do more of what's working because they don't know what that is.
Well, a lot of so there was a marketing company, and they had gone in to work with a massage therapy clinic, and they were talking, okay, who are your ideal clients? Like, who are the ones that come in and spend the money and do all this stuff? And they're going, okay, we need to be going after the working moms. They're busy, they're stressed, they're sore, they're doing all of this stuff. We need to be going after them. And so the marketing company said, well, let's actually take a look at your books, like see who your high paying customers and stuff are. Who do you think ended up being like their profitable customers?
The high executive business people,
Yeah,
women.
it was executive men between the ages of 50 and 60, because they had the time, they had the
And the
money,
money.
and they also had enough power in their life. They weren't looking after, okay, I have to be running after kids or anything. I've got the employees that can look after stuff so that I can go and I can take the hour for the massage and stuff to look after my health. But they were a small portion of who they were working with. But when they started going through and actually taking a look at the real numbers, those were the profitable ones. So they changed their marketing to be attracting more of those people, and their business exploded. So that's where it comes down to, like I said, the actual numbers and looking at it as a business. Like, yes, we want to help the moms, but even though they need it, even if they have the money, do they have the time, do they have the energy? And typically moms, we go to the bottom of the list, so we're not going to take care of ourselves. So it's paying
There's,
attention to those stories, looking at it as a business.
yeah, and it's not delivering what they need. I mean, yeah, stressed out moms need to go to the spa, but they're not probably going to go to the spa
Yeah,
because they put
exactly.
themselves last. That's just
Mm-hmm.
kind of fundamentally who they are. So, what do you think some of the common mistakes are that new business owners make?
Oh, very, very common. So I typically find that there's two types of people that start businesses. So the vast majority of them, like 60 to 70%, are what I call like the bunny rabbit types. They're really good with the ideas. They don't have a problem with the marketing. They could sell ice to the Eskimos, as we used to say when I was a kid. They don't, and they love the networking and all of that stuff. They don't have a problem with marketing. Where they have a problem is actually getting back to the office, to the shop, or whatever, and delivering all the wonderful fun stuff that they've sold. Their systems are non-existent usually. You walk into their office and you can't find the desk because it's buried in papers and all of this stuff. The phone's ringing because they've got bill collectors, not because they don't want to pay or don't have the money to pay, but they're so disorganized I can't even find the bill or anything that's going on. So they need help with those. And then I find the other type of people, and that makes up about 30 to 40%, are what I call the owl type. And I'm more on the owl side, but you give them a job and they are going to knock your socks off. It is going to be delivered beautifully ahead of schedule. It's going to be better than you expected. Their systems are put together. Everything is neat and tidy. Where they have the problem is, okay, you expect me to go out and talk to a real live human being and tell them about how I can help them? Oh my God, I can't do that. So they need help with the marketing part. Like, you actually have to go out and talk to people. You have to be letting them know what you can do. So it's figuring, okay, where are the people strong and where are they weak? And most importantly, where are the things that they don't even know about, and helping them build a proper business around it.
So if you were going to tell somebody who was thinking that they were going to just start a business, they maybe went out and got their coaching certificate, or they made really great whatevers. We'll just call it soap. They make really great homemade soap. How, and they came to you and they said, okay, what are the things I need to know to get started? What would you say to them?
Well, typically I don't start saying things. I start asking questions.
Okay.
That's the first thing, to figure out, like I said, where are they strong? Because everybody comes in with some strengths.
Mhm.
Where are they weak? And like I said, where are the things that they don't even know? Because all successful business, doesn't mean if it's a solopreneur up to the multinational corporations, they all have the same 8 pieces. Mindset, like, how do you think about it? Business, because when you're used to being an employee thinks and does things like pretty much the polar opposite of a business owner. So where's your mindset? Where are your habits? Like, what are you doing day in and day out to get stuff done? Because if you don't have, okay, what are the proper habits that you need, you're just going to be chasing your tail. Whatever's shiny and distracting, you're going to go after it. You need to have marketing. You need to have your advisory team, competent, qualified people that can help you in the various areas, because our world is so complicated and there is so much stuff. It is impossible to know everything. So how do you find who are the right people that can come in and help you? Understanding, like, the financials, paying attention to the numbers, the bookkeeping, learning the stories that are being told. Systems, no business. And I come across so many of these people, like, yes, they think they're running a business, but everything is in their head. I'm going, you're not running a business. You are owned by your job. Anything whatsoever happens to you, nothing gets done. Nothing gets done. So you have to have your systems. You also have to have cash flow, and you have to have profit. And they are 2 very different things. You need to have both of them. Like, you can have very profitable businesses that don't have cash flow in the beginning. So for example, we hear about these great big blockbuster movies. Well, they're very profitable, but how long did it take them to make them? And they had to have the millions of dollars to pay the actors, to pay all of the people in the background, to pay for the promotion and the editing and everything before there's a single penny made. So you have to have that cash flow to keep everything going, and then profit, what is left over after everything is paid for. So have all
I'm
8
going
of
to
those pieces.
point something out here because I see a lot of this happening in the coaching community, and that's the bestseller books. And I do have to laugh because everybody and their brother can have a bestseller book on Amazon because, you self-publish, but truly a best-selling book on like the New York Times bestseller list, those books require a significant investment in promotion before they ever get to some place like the New York Times bestseller list.
Oh, huge, huge. And yes, I always laugh when I see the bestseller. Okay, yes, in a very, very small category on Amazon for a 30-minute spot. And it's and if you can get organized, pretty much anyone can have a best-selling book. Not saying that but that is not the be all and end all. Like people
And
think
it really
they're
is getting
always
to the
looking for this
point where it's,
magic bullet.
yeah, and it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
The more common something gets, the less value it actually has. So there's that. I'm sorry, it was just one of those
Yeah.
things that I
I
see
agree
this
with
going
you.
on and I just shake my head. Like, you guys are getting suckered in.
Well, it's a yes, because they're going, oh yes, you just have to have a best-selling book and then everything will come flowing into you. Well, the person that's selling you the program to get this best-selling book, like I said, in a very specific small category for 30 minutes, like yes, you can say you accomplished that, but how many people actually bought it? How many people are buying it after that specific targeted window? And is it actually bringing you in any business afterwards? Like I'm all for books. Like I'm a member of Canadian Association of Professional Speakers, and most speakers have books, and those are wonderful. And they sell them at the back of the room after their talks and stuff like that, and it helps solidify. They can be a wonderful tool. But if you think, okay, if I can get that coveted spot of Amazon bestseller, that's going to be the magic pill that I need, well, people are going to be very sorely disappointed.
It's just one piece of a larger puzzle where it has to do with marketing, and marketing is advertising.
Yeah.
We just have a different word for it these days. And I think it kind of gets muddied in there because people have different ideas about what advertising is and what branding is. And they're just different names for the same mechanism of making people aware of what you have to offer and who you are and why you're unique and why they need you
Yeah.
or your thing or whatever it is that you're trying to sell.
And
Another
attracting the
word
people
that,
that are going to resonate with you, because we all
right.
have different personalities, and some people we're going to click with really well and some people we're not going to. So it's attracting the right people. And a lot of people, like for those of us that are a bit older, like advertising used to be okay, ads on the radio and ads on TV. Well, yes, you can still do that, but it's nowhere near as effective as it was 30 years ago because the game has changed, and there are so many different ways that you can do it. Like there's 27 different ways you can market your business. Number one, you don't need to do all of them. You only need to pick like 2, 3 things and do them well and do them consistently. And also, it takes time for people to even see you because we are inundated with marketing messages absolutely everywhere. You go in, you turn on a computer, you go into social media, it's everywhere. You go on a website, you've got all those ads there. You go for a drive, you're seeing the store signs, you're
Walk
seeing the
around your
deco.
block.
We
There's
have to
stuff.
block out. I read that if you are living in a normal urban center and you commute to work, you are exposed to 1.6 million marketing messages a day, and you don't even see like 1.59999 million
Your
of
brain
them.
just can't process it.
You can't. So, like I said, it's better to be okay in a place consistently and okay, be seen, be seen, be seen. And the instant buyers pretty much don't exist. Like they have to get to know you and you have to be seen over and over again. Because even if you're absolutely amazing, a lot of people will not touch you until you've been in business for at least 3 years because they want to go, are you serious about this? Or is this just a flash in the pan? Is this your flavor of the month? Because if I start working with you and I really like you, but you're gone next month, that's painful. So are you serious about this? So it's like, are you in it for the long haul? Are you planning your marketing for the long haul?
And are you marketing where your clients are
Yeah.
at? That's another big one. It's like, are your clients hanging around on social media or are they someplace else? Because
Well,
not
on social
everybody,
media, which social media?
yeah.
Because different groups and stuff are more attracted. Okay, so some are do really well on TikTok because that's where their client base is. Some it's more on LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever. What groups are you in and what are you marketing to them? Like, I'm not going to be doing a lot of goofy dance moves if I'm targeting women my age. Now, if I was targeting their kids, well, that's a different way of doing things. But yes, and do you know who your clients are? You cannot be everything to everybody. And if you try to market to everybody, you are marketing to no one.
And we hear that and still
Yep.
it's like, really, it's okay. You can just have like, you can name your avatar.
Yep.
Mine's named Sarah Harmon. She's 45.
And she's awesome, I'm sure.
She is totally awesome. I think she has brown hair.
Oh, okay.
So you do offer coaching services to people that are hopefully pretty close to the beginning of their entrepreneur journey, right?
Yes, my
And
specialty are idea stage up to 2 years. Like I've worked with everybody from idea stage up to I've been successful in business for 35 years and everything in between. And I can definitely help those. But like I said, my mission is to drastically improve the success rate of small businesses because the vast majority of them fail within the first 2 years. And rarely is it because there's a problem with their product or the service or that the owner isn't working hard enough. It's the fact that they're missing the business skills that they need in order to first survive. And when I first started my business, like I said, my background is financial services. I spent like the first 10 years of my career working back offices and management and all of that stuff. And then one morning, um, I got called into my boss's office and I was fired. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I was all like, I hate, like, it was all I could do to haul myself into work every morning because I hated where I was. I was already interviewing in other places. If it had been another week, I would have been handing in my notice and I'm going to another job with better title and better pay and all that. And then when I got fired, I felt this huge weight being lifted off my shoulders and going, I never have to work for another creepy, incompetent old man again. I'm finally going to go into sales like people have been telling me for years. I really, really need to do this. But I came up with all sorts of reasons. I did not want to do that. But being fired pushed me. And I started in a much, much better position than those people because I had the training. It was my job to fix their problems and train them and come up with sales ideas and all this stuff. And my first 2 years were very challenging. Like I went from like $55,000 a year, regular steady paycheck and all this stuff to you eat what you kill.
right.
So you better lock and load and go out and go hunting. And in my first 2 years in business, I made about $24,000, which averages $1,000 a month. But I didn't make $1,000 a month. I had to figure out all of this stuff and that. And I'm going, if I could go back and talk to me 1 year before that magic moment and say, okay, Tammy, you're finally going to do this, but while you've got the job and stuff, use that like hatred of what the stupid stuff you're putting up and start putting some of the pieces together so that when that moment comes, you're ready to go rather than, okay, now I have to pick myself and dust myself up and start from scratch. I'm going, that's why I do what I do. Cause I'm going, I would have made my money in maybe 6 months. Like after the 2 years, I haven't cleared less than 100 grand. But those first 2 years were really challenging. And then I also basically got pregnant right after I got fired and started my business. And I had to build a
That
business
always
and a
helps.
baby at the same time. And I took 30 hours of mat leave. Hours. And people go, well, why would you do it? Because I was just starting to get everything going. And if I'd stopped, I would have lost all of
Lost
that
all the
momentum.
momentum.
And one of the reasons why I finally decided to start my business is my husband and I, we were talking about starting our family. And I'm going, I don't want to get my daughter up at 5 o'clock in the morning so I can get her dressed and drop her off at daycare so I can go to a job that I hate, pick her up at 5:30, 6 o'clock at night, see her for maybe an hour or whatever before she goes to bed and miss all of that and pay an arm and a leg for somebody else
Mm.
to raise my kid. Where if I start my business, okay, I can do this. And like I have clients that went through the pregnancy with me, and when I would go and show up for appointments and stuff with my daughter, going, can we hold the baby? Oh, here you go. And just kept going. And now my daughter's in her third year of university, and I was able to be pizza mom and be able to go and be the field trip mom and all of those things while growing and running my business and learning, okay, how do I do this? Because how can I help other moms and dads? Because dads are a lot more involved now. Like, how do we have the balance and work all the things and build something worthwhile?
It's it teaches our kids how to have an economy that actually functions in a societally responsible way.
Yep.
Raising kids in an entrepreneurial family helps them understand that they're part of the process. They're not being put in a box
Yep.
and and on the shelf and waiting for you to come and play with them during your prescribed couple hours a day. And once they
Yep.
get in school, it's even less because then you got to just fight with them over homework. It's just, it's a miserable existence,
Yeah.
the
Where
existence that we've been trained to lead.
running my business with my daughter, like, so I've been running my business for coming up on 23 years now, and I did
Mhm,
have an office space for about 3 years. I will never ever do that one again. But all
mhm.
through that, like, my daughter would be my assistant, and she would talk with my clients and bring them down, and she would come with me when I would teach my classes and stuff like that, and she was just always part of it. And she's going, this is good. And we taught her that, okay, yes, you're part of this, and then how do we make it work?
Yeah. And you just, you raise them with that idea that
Mhm.
it's just, this is how life goes. You
Yep.
don't, there isn't work and family and kids and things that you like to do and vacations. It's like life can be all interwoven
Yep.
and beautiful. It's just like, I totally get what you were doing. I did it
Yep.
too. And I homeschooled my kids because it was just like, I had you, I want you near me.
Hmm.
I don't want to do and I had two sets of kids. The first set I did, I was working in companies and it was miserable. And I went back to work after my second child was born, like the day after I got home
Oh
from
my.
hospital. Um, I took him with me, but
Yes.
still, it was like very little time that I spent with him. And my daughter was not much better. I think I might have taken 2 weeks off with her. But it was during the 80s and women were just expected to do it all. You were
Hmm.
expected to keep an immaculate home and work full time and raise your kids, and your kids had to be the most intelligent, special people ever. It's just like,
And everybody's stressed and nobody's happy.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, it was miserable. And I swore when I had the next three that I wasn't going to live like that. I got a homestead and we
So you
homeschooled
found
and
you found what worked for you, and like you said,
yeah,
that was one of the many reasons why, like I said, I finally, because I'd had people telling me, Tammy, like, you need to go into sales, like you would be so good at this and all this stuff, and I kept, no, no, no. And then, like you said, the thing that really pushed me was, like, we're talking about starting our family. I'm going, and I see my friends and my clients and stuff where they had the normal job, and I'm Canadian, so if you're employed, when I had my daughter, we get a year of maternity leave, a year.
wow.
And but then they have to go back and do all this stuff, and they'd be okay. Yeah, they have to get the kids up, and they have to get them to the before school care and all. Like, I'm going, I don't want to do that.
It's a
So
lot of
how do I
work.
set up my life and my business? So she's part, like, I missed teaching one class because that's literally the day I gave birth. She was teaching with me the next week. She was seeing clients with me before she was 2 days old, and she did her first trade show with me when she was 2 weeks old, and like it was just all part of it. And like she could handle, like, there's some kids like, nope, they have to be home at an exact time and the room has to be perfectly quiet and perfectly dark, or they can't. Like, she was perfectly fine everywhere, and I'm going, oh, it was wonderful. But that's how it was from day one.
That's so awesome that you could do that. So how do you actually run your coaching? Is it group coaching? Is it one-on-one? Is it a course? Is
Well,
it
it's a bit of both. So what I do when I work with people is I want them to go through and do my small business class. So it's a weekend, Friday
Mhm.
night, Saturday, Sunday. It's intensive for like 20 hours, because that gives you, like, we're hitting you with like a fire hose of information. But it starts to give you an idea, okay, here's all the pieces, here's how they work, here's how it gives you ideas. And that's how I started. So I do my small business class, and people loved it, and absolutely amazing. But I found that they weren't doing much with it afterwards, because with most people, and I'm guilty of this myself, like, we'll go to a course or we'll take a class or whatever, and we're going, oh my God, that was wonderful, that's life-changing, I can't wait to get back and start doing these things. Well, as soon as you get out of the classroom or away from the retreat, well, the phone is ringing, and oh, here's all this mail that I have to deal with, and I have to look after this for a client, and my email inbox is full, and the dog is barking, and I need to, and you get sucked back into regular life. And then you're going by your bookshelf and you're looking at that binder from the class you took, and you're going, oh yeah, that was great, remember all the changes I was going to make? And nothing happened. So what I do is we do small business class, and then I partner it with a year of group coaching where we continue to work on the stuff that we learned in class, add to a little bit, but more important, they get the support, they get the accountability, they get the ongoing stuff, so they actually make the changes, start doing the stuff, rather than just being, okay, that was wonderful, and then I get sucked back into real life. And then people can pay for additional one-on-one coaching with me if they want that and really want to get the results. But I'm going, I want to see people actually making the changes, doing the stuff they need to do. Like, yes, I want to sell the courses, but what's the point of you coming and doing the course if you're not actually going to change anything?
And I think a lot of what you're talking about is people you develop habits in
Everything is
anything you do.
habits.
All of life is a series of habits that you have. And when you go to something like that, it's all about the big picture habit change of the potential for how
Mm-hmm.
you could be. But really, change happens incrementally over a long period of time. And if you can get them into the weekly thing where you say, okay, this is the big picture,
Mm-hmm.
this is what we're aiming for. But I don't expect that you're going to walk out of here and be able to implement all of this tomorrow, because you just don't have all of the habits that you need to have to make this happen for you. And you have to learn some skills. And in the beginning, everything takes 4 times as long
Mm-hmm.
at least. But once you do it a few times, it becomes okay. So what
Yep.
took you an hour now takes you 10 or 15 minutes.
Yep.
And so you can add something else that takes an hour and then get it down to, 10 or 15 minutes. And by the time you're done, you're doing a whole bunch of stuff, or you're implementing
Mm-hmm.
systems
Yep.
that you know how to operate and that you can teach someone else how to operate, because you're
Yep.
making a how-to manual as you're
Yep.
learning
You can actually
yourself.
bring in people to properly help you, because most people, okay, yes, I've got the marketing going, so people are coming in, they hire a body. And
Yes.
the body may not be the right person for that job. And the other thing, I do all of my stuff live. I do all of my stuff live, because then it is a set time on the calendar. Like everything, especially in coaching, you're supposed to do it all evergreen. Evergreen is how you could be making money. And going, yes, because evergreen means, okay, the course is up, they can watch the videos or take the course whenever they want. They've got lifetime access.
And they'll
How
never
many
do
people
it.
actually do it? Like seriously, how many people actually do it? A very, very small percent, because I have access to it whenever I want. So everything else can bump it. And I'm a very disciplined person, and I have a hard time because I'm going, okay, yes, I'm going to sit down and do something else has come up. Where if it's a set time blocked off on your schedule, you're going to be there. Plus, you have the opportunity to ask questions of me and to work with the other students. Because one of the most magical things, because I've been teaching small business class for close to 20 years now, is the connections been made between the different people in the class. And they go, oh, okay, I'm not the only person that's struggling with this. So maybe I'm not an idiot. Or, oh my God, that's a great idea. I never thought that I could put, and you get that. And like you said, it's a set time on your calendar. So you're going to show up. You're going to show up and get it done.
Anytime anybody goes to school, we go to college, we're expected to show up for class at a specific time. I don't know, maybe it's changed. I think they do a lot on the internet these days, but for the most part, you have to have the idea that you're paying a reasonable amount of money to get this information so that you can make a change in your habits so you can get a different result. And I think it's great that you're just you're you're helping them so much by requiring them to show up and be accountable to to everybody else in the community, because like you said, groups are where the magic happens. I've seen it time and time again, and I've met some people in groups that I've had as friends for decades.
Yeah,
Really.
me too. When I first started my business, I joined this group coaching program, and I went to it for 11 years.
Mhm.
11 years. And it was wonderful. And yes, I learned a few things, but I learn a lot on my own. Like I read and I study and I question, I do all that stuff. So it wasn't so much what I was learning, but it was the habit. Like we would go and all meet for one day, once a quarter, and the friendships I made. And then for me, I also picked up so many clients that are still clients of mine. So it was absolutely wonderful. But yes, that group dynamic, and the fact that it's live, even when you're taking correspondence courses, like if you sign up for it, like if it's something for a degree, you have to have it done by a certain time. And my daughter, when she was in high school, was shut down for COVID. Like
Mhm.
yes, she had online classes, but she had to be there and do that. And then she, even in university, she has a couple of classes that are online, but they're a set time, and here's when you can talk to the teacher and different things. And so much more happens, because if people are left to their own devices, what are the chances they're actually going to get through it?
They
Slim and
just
none.
aren't.
The you paid for the course, and like I said, I've done this. I've paid for courses, and I still need to take, or I need to finish. And I'm a very disciplined person, but life gets in the way. But if it's a set time on the schedule and you're building those habits, it gets done. I don't want to just take your money. I want you to get the results.
Yes. So I'll share this with you. That's what I was tapping with Brad about this morning. Taking personal responsibility for my clients' results. Because I feel like, when clients come to me, it's like, I want you to get these results. I know that they're possible.
Yeah. We can't do the work for them, but there's ways
Yes.
that we can set. My clients are the ones that name me the hold your hand and kick your ass business coach, because they say you love us and you support us and you show us what's possible, but you also don't let us get away with any shit. Like you call us out on our crap. We like one of the things I get them trained to do is they do a weekly plan, and they have to send it to me, and I'm going, it makes no difference to me. I do my own weekly plan for me. It's for you. And you know that if I don't get it, I'm going to let you know. So they do it, and they're going, knowing that you're going to kick my ass if I don't, I get it done, and then I move forward and I get the results. Where if I don't have some, but like there's lots of people that will blow the sunshine up your ass, but if you don't do anything, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to have you waste your time and your money and my time by not doing it.
Mhm. And I love that. And you do have an assessment for people
Yeah.
that you offer. It's the Solopreneur self-assessment. You want to talk about that for just a minute?
Yeah, so it's a very quick little quiz that you can do on the various business aspects to figure out where you're strong, because everybody comes in with some strengths. Like I said, some people are natural marketers, some people are better at the back end or whatever, but figure out where you're strong. Figure out where you're weak, and we need to be building those skills up and or bringing in other people to help us. And most importantly, the things you don't even know you need to know so that you can actually build a business that can first survive. Like everybody, when I see on social media, because I'm on social media, and there's all these people advertising, well, basically I call them the magic beans. Well, you do this one thing and everything, you're going to be making $20,000 a month consistently. And I see those ads all the time, and I'm going, how many of your people that have bought the course have ever done that? Maybe 1 out of 1,000. You're making the money, and I'm not even saying there's anything wrong with the materials. But like I said, so much of it is evergreen. People aren't doing it, or if they're in groups that are so large that you can't get a question in because you're with these celebrity coaches, are they getting the results? Are they getting the results? So yes, I want you to figure, okay, where are you strong? Where are you weak? And where do you not even know you need to know, so that we can build you a business that survives, and then we can go on to thrive. But typically you're going to be busting your ass for 2 years before you start getting traction and you start bringing in enough business and enough clients and building that reputation. It's like have you ever read the book Good to Great by Jim Collins?
I have not.
Oh, it's absolutely wonderful. I love Jim Collins' books. But one of the things he talks about in Good to Great, it's so the premise of Good to Great is, how do you take a crappy company and turn it into an amazing company? And what are the 6 things? And one of the things they talk about is pushing on the flywheel. So you've got like a 2,000-pound flywheel, and you're pushing on it, and like you're putting all of your might and your effort into it, and you're sweating buckets, and you finally get it to go around once. And then, okay, you keep going, and the second time it gets going a little bit easier. And you keep going on it, and you build up, and it just starts getting faster and faster and faster until you can get to the point where, between its own momentum and inertia, you can just basically go and keep it going. But you have to put in that steady, consistent effort to get it going, and then you have to maintain it going. Where some people, in our instant gratification world, they expect, I do this one thing and everything should happen. It doesn't work that way. Business is not a lottery ticket. Well, but for most people, it is a lottery ticket because they put a little bit of money in, they didn't win, and they quit.
They didn't win yet, which is the sad part for most of them. If
Yeah.
they just, I think of it as like the merry-go-round at the park
Yeah.
when I'm pushing my grandkids on the whirly thing. It takes effort to get the thing going, but once you
Well,
get it going, you can
once you
keep
get
it
it going,
going. It's
I like
just
telling people. So, like I said, I've been in business for well over 20 years. And the longest time I've had from somebody meeting me to actually becoming a client was 14 years. 14 years. I've had lots of like 6 or 8 or whatever, and people go, "How's that happen?" Well, right when I first started my business, I was doing lunch and learns at the city, and this lady met me, and she really liked me, shook my card and all this stuff. But then she ended up moving out of the country, changing jobs and all of this stuff. She got married, and then she came back. And she'd lost my card because, like I said, it had been 14 years. All she could remember was my first name. And she's going, I need to find her. And it took her 2 days of Googling, because like I said, all she could remember was my first name, but it took her 2 days of Googling. And her new husband was going, well, why in the world do you need to find her? Like, you could go with all these other people. She says, no, no, no. When we find her, you will understand. So found me, and we reconnected, and they finally became a client. I'm going, are you in it for the long term? Even like I said, right at the very beginning, because when people pick up on that, it's another attractive feature. They're going, are you serious about this?
which kind of leads into the how do you find the right business coach for you?
How do you find the right business coach for you? Well, number one, what is their specialty? Because you can find people that are great at like Facebook ads and all sorts of different things. I always say at the beginning, you need somebody who's more of a generalist that can help you with the beginning stages and looking after all of the pieces. And who are you going to resonate with? Like, I am not for everybody. I swear, I tell bad jokes. I am very, very blunt. If that's going to bother you, I am not the person for you. But the people that love me, that track me. So like I said, what are they teaching you? So specialists are great once you're established enough to properly use them. Are they going to help you get through the first stages if that's where you are? And then, like I said, if you're going, okay, no, I've got a good business and I want to expand and I need to learn more about like social media marketing, then find those specialists. And do you resonate with them? Do you share values? Are you going to be able to connect with them?
That's awesome. This has been very eye-opening, Tammy, and I really appreciate you sharing all of your insight with us. What is the one thing that you hope the audience takes away from this conversation today?
You absolutely can succeed in business, but it's going to take time and it's going to take effort. And there is no such thing as a magic pill. You have to put in the work.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for joining us for the U World Order Showcase podcast. Remember, if you would like to be featured on this podcast as a life, health, or transformational coach, please visit www.jointheuworldorder.com. We look forward to talking to you next time as we present another life, health, or transformational coach being the change they seek in the world.